Hello, hello. I'm almost ready to start. Looking at the clock. This is Tommy here with me, my associate. Rock the dog is on the other end of the couch, and Max the cat is under here. I just have to show you. There's Max the cat. Rock the dog. Here we are in our little nook. Hi, Mary Beth. Great to be here together as usual. It's a rainy, not too cold morning in Northern Virginia. Makes it cozy. I kind of like this time of year when I can light a candle in the daytime and be here with you guys this way. So, hello everyone. I'm aLex Levin. We're here together in the Sun and Moon Yoga community. Please do check our website for events happening, for what's happening in the break, the tune-ins you can attend. The workshops coming up. There's always, I haven't looked on the schedule myself yet, but we've usually got a couple of New Year's events. I'm sure they'll be at both studios and available through Zoom as well. So check us out there. So have a cozy place to sit or comfortable as much as possible, uninterrupted. As the interruptions come, we'll deal with them, right? That's part of the deal. But it's a good idea to set yourself up for success, to avoid future sufferings, avoid the unnecessary distractions. Turn all the phone. Oh, I was going to turn a couple more settings off on my phone. So today, as a little theme, I'd like to use to guide us, and certainly you can just be here, uh, however you practice your mindfulness, meditation, stillness, these arts that help us navigate life more skillfully, more with more kindness, help us to meet life. Help us to grow, help us to self-actualize, to use a kind of fancy word from when did that come out? The 60s? Don't know, maybe before that. So let's center. I'm holding my cup of hot water. Perhaps you have some comfort like that nearby. Throughout this first half of our 30 minutes, you might make adjustments so that in the last third or so when we're meditating, that you can really be in stillness more easily. I've got a couple cushions behind me, but I'm working on being upright. So we have the gang from Arlington here. We have the gang from Edisto Beach, South Carolina with us here live today. Great, great, great. Virginia and Jackie. And all of you who join later, thank you so much. It's potent that we do this together. So arriving through the body and settling. And as you may see me, I'm still squiggling to get the seat right. But balance that with just settling as it is, not fidgeting. If you do find yourself fidgeting, fold that in. Might be you need to be releasing that energy. And begin to notice, especially the ground, how you feel it, how you know it's here through the knowing mechanisms of our body, which includes the nervous system, every cell, all the different molecules of the food we ate and the experiences we've had. Notice your breathing. Fold that into how we're sensing the ground that's supporting us, the gravity that's holding us in place. And when we open our sensory apparatus to sense gravity, we're maybe allowing ourselves not to be victims of gravity, just passive, but rather in harmony with gravity, letting this partnership help us be strong. As we know, if you're up in the space, what's that called? Shuttle, or out, is that still in the Earth's atmosphere? When you're outside of the Earth's atmosphere in space, there's no gravity, and the astronauts lost muscle mass. I think they have certain ways they have rigged up resistance to keep that going, but something we can benefit from is just noticing and using resistance to keep ourselves in harmony, in equilibrium. So ground and breath, these two doorways, can be using toward laser focusing in a soft way to right here, to right here. And then gently, without losing those two, without losing the feel of those two elements of ground support, gravity, liaison, sound, invite the experience of sound. I hear raindrops. I can see them out on the deck. I hear the fan of our furnace blowing. And there's our minds know a point out there to in here, but really it's all connected. The mechanism of the ear inside us, we wouldn't know the sound without that, the outer, seemingly coming from outer sound. So keep marinating in these cues that help us be right here. And let the cues drop away whenever it feels you feel ready, like to let go of the training wheels. Just let go into being. As I say a few words, um, I'm thinking of, as we come to the shortest day of the year in the Northern Hemisphere, the winter solstice, I'm reminded that the yin yang symbol from the Eastern wisdom, that the teardrop, the one black teardrop and white teardrop that are spooning, nestled into each other, not spooning, they're hugging. In the black, there's a dot, a small dot of white. In the white, there's a small dot of black. What I have learned or hear from teachers is that symbolizes that there is never, even though we come to the almost darkest day of the year, I suspect that even way up north, where the day gets so short, there's at least a little bit of daylight. In the most dark place that we can find ourselves. this gift, similar to the message of Hanukkah, as I understand it, is there's there's this gift that it's never total darkness. Our imagination might take us to total darkness, and maybe the way we feel sometimes is that there is no light. And perhaps the teachings are that that even in those times, that should we ask, should we look, should we expand our the limits of our mind and open to possibility, open to what we don't yet know, that light that would invite, bring us to feel that droplet of light. And so sometimes that's, I'm thinking also today about how teachers have been that for us. Various teachers, and those of us, many of us in this sangha, in this community, have studied with teachers, have taken classes with each other. We learn from each other, even in our friendships. We learn from each other. There's just many ways that we are light for each other. We humans and we beyond humans, the animals, the plants, the microbes. And so the yogis have this, the ancient yogis have this chant from the Vedic times, many, many eons ago. And Dana Fouts, in Going In and In, this lovely book of poems from the heart of yoga, she calls this poem Sangha. I think it's a loose translation of that Vedic hymn. So I will read it now before we get to a little movement and stillness. Sangha. Teach me what I cannot learn alone. Let us share what we know and what we cannot fathom. Speak to me of mysteries and let us never lie to one another. May our fierce and tender longing fuel the fire in our souls. When we stand side by side, let us dare to focus our desire on the truth. May we be reminders, each for the other, that the path of transformation passes through the flames. To take one step is courageous. To stay on the path day after day, choosing the unknown and facing yet another fear, that is nothing short of grace. Bookmark from my friend. So perhaps as you let that soak in, fire of our souls, the flame of transformation, nothing short of courage, grace. Perhaps if you might choose, we're almost at a halfway point, if you're in the position where you'd like to be for the stillness part, which is coming up soon. And if not, shift to where you'd like to be, maybe lying down, maybe sitting differently, maybe standing. And bring one hand to the center of your chest, just below the collarbones, but a little to the side. So you're sort of resting on where the ribs meet the breastbone, and just mainly the index finger is what we're working with, but the rest of the hand can just be gently relaxed. Invite that shoulder to relax, even though the hand is doing some observatory work. And just let yourself breathe and let that finger, mine is resting between, like the indentation between two ribs. And let the finger sense the movement. There's a sort of a grosser movement of breath moving as the breath comes in and out. And you may feel more subtle um, rhythms of your own breath and feel deeper as the finger senses the cloth of your shirt or sweatshirt, sweater, what you're wearing, the skin under that, the bone. We know there's musculature and other tissue, lungs underneath. For maybe about a 3 or 4 breaths, maybe that was more, but then move down and moving to the next space over the rib into the space between that rib and the following one. And do that again, just listening with the finger as if the finger is the listening agent. Simultaneously, we might feel sound and ground. Sound includes space around. I didn't address that today, but it's anything that's around us outside of our body that is part of our experience. As far as the edges of the universe, the light that comes to us from there. I've been there long. We can move your hand down to the next set of space between ribs. And then cross over to the other side, cross the breastbone and cross and find space between two ribs. The crossing over, notice that this may feel different. Maybe it doesn't, but take in the experience of a hand crossing over to the other side. Might feel different. Moving up as you've felt the pulse of breath with your index finger, and then feeling the knowing of the information you're receiving. It's not just received in the finger, is it? Of course not. It's coming to the brain. It feels like it's, well, for me, I'll report what's for me, but see what's for you. It's almost like the movement of breath, the little warmth and movement and rhythm is is radiating through my whole body, the waves of it. And I'm even going to come over the top of my collarbone where it's tough because of the tendons there of the neck, perhaps, but and listen, there's one rib that's one, maybe two that are above the collarbone. When you're ready, let it go and sit to receive the echo of this experience, of this practice. And that perhaps nicely segues us right into stillness. Take a moment to set up anything else you need. If you need, it might be that we've done that already. So just arrive again. as we begin the meditation. You might so this will be about a 8-minute meditation. You might set your hands intentionally in some way. You might relax a little bit more through the scalp, the eyebrows, the sides of the neck, shoulders, through the upper rib cage, front and back and sides, and down through the middle rib cage and the lower rib cage to the breathing muscle and the belly, pelvis. You might imagine the relaxation through the upper arms and all the joints, the shoulder, elbow, wrists, all the joints of the hand and fingers. And similarly, a softening through the hip joints, knees, ankles, feet, and toe joints, ankles, heels, arches, soles. Relax through the joints on either side of the mouth, the temporomandibular joints, through the upper palate, let the eyes be relaxed. Perhaps they're closed or perhaps just barely open with a downward gaze, just barely letting in a little light. We just might get more and more steady glimpses of that ground of being, that awareness that we notice sometimes that's seemingly in the background, but it permeates everything, and we get to feel that a bit more, perhaps lots more in this practice. If your attention finds some hardness, some efforting, as I just felt in my thumbs and hands, be glad that it found it and allowed the choice for letting go or another choice. The mind will throw in something it's labeling, assessing, roaming. And then we feel distance through space, we feel time. And then when we remember to just lean back into that capital A awareness, which doesn't necessarily lose the mind labels or space and time, but drops us into ourself. A few more breaths together here. No hurry. You may choose to stay a few more minutes after we bow and close, but there's a usefulness, a reason for the closure, the finiteness of the practice that marks transition, that marks um, that this practice is not separate from moving out in life and perhaps taking what we cultivated here and in the poem, the the prayer for, say, peace or harmony and how we are with each other and supporting the light of each other's souls. But also, you might just be ready to sit longer. So I bow to you all. I bow to my inner self. I bow to all beings everywhere. And I look forward to see you next week. Thanks for joining us.